What's up, y'all? I'm Talon, and today I'm here with a top VGC rental team, which I'll be piloting on the Battle Stadium ladder, trying to learn more about the new Regulation D VGC format, while also explaining my thought processes as a 4-time regional champion and veteran pro player throughout the battles. Today I'm going to be featuring a team created by Zhang Zhe, who is the 2022 Milwaukee Regional Champion, who also got top 8 at North American Internationals that year. He goes by Hupu Metatpod on Twitter, which I'll have linked in the description, as well as the Pokepaste for the team and the rental code. But yeah, this is a really cool Tailwind team that features Kleavor, that he was able to get top 30 on the Pokemon Showdown ladder with an 80% win rate, which is really impressive. Kleavor being on the team is really interesting. It wasn't a Pokemon I had pegged to be particularly meta-defining when we were looking at the new Pokemon coming out of Pokemon Legends Arceus. It has pretty mediocre special defense, speed, really good attack, but really breaks the Pokemon wide open is the sharpness ability, which increases the attack of most slicing attacks. Think X-Scissor, Sacred Sword, anything that's slicing, like I said, by 50%, which is equivalent to a Choice Band boost, and that's just really insane damage. And when we have a Pokemon like Chien-Pao in the format, which can reduce all the Pokemon in the field's defense stats, it just gets even more insane how those boosts compound and the damage this Pokemon can put out. Zhang went with a really interesting set on the Kleavor. He has a Rocky Helmet Tera Water set with a lot of bulk on it. So if an Urshifu goes for a Surging Strikes into it to knock it out, it's really going to pay for it with 50% of its HP from those Rocky Helmet hits. And if you want to go for the Tera Water, it's going to be doing very little damage, and you're definitely winning that damage trade. They're taking 50% from those Rocky Helmet hits if you're at full HP and living all of them. And then with a X-Scissor and a Stone Axe plus a Feint, you're probably knocking out from there. So yeah, really cool set. The Kleavor is running a bit of speed investment to hit 224 speed in Tailwind, which notably lets it outspeed anything slower than a Adamant Choice Scarf Urshifu with max speed, which is pretty relevant calc. Adamant Choice Scarf Urshifu has definitely been running around, so being able to outspeed that in Tailwind is really valuable. Tailwind traditionally weak to Trick Room, so having something that can chunk down Cresselia is really valuable. Stone Axe, its signature move, setting up the Stealth Rocks, is just really underrated in both breaking Focus Sashes and putting defensive calcs that your opponent kind of is counting on to get full HP in your favor. I'll point out Flutter Mane's EV to live, Surging Strikes from Urshifu or Ice Spinner from Chien-Pao, suddenly folding to one to those attacks after Stealth Rock Chip is really, really cool. Similarly to Urshifu, being able to go for Feint into Protects to free up that slot for your partner to take it out is really cool. And the Quick Guard, being able to block any fake outs that would otherwise stall a turn of Tailwind is really, really valuable. So next we have Tornadus, which is the premier Tailwind setter of this format. A lot of them have been going for the Covert Cloak, more offensive sets, but this is actually a bulkier set with Mental Herb and a Tera Ghost type in case you really want to dodge fake outs on that turn 1 for that Tailwind setup. But yeah, definitely this Tornadus seems more geared to handling things like Thundurus or other Tornadus, trying to get a faster taunt off to stop your Tailwind by completely circumventing that with the Mental Herb and then taunting them after you've gotten your own Tailwind up yourself. The Tornadus is trained really bulky in the physical side just to be able to handle all the physical type attackers running around in the metagame. The Tornadus moveset is pretty standard. We have Tailwind, Bleak Wind Storm, Taunt, and Protect. And those are all just really valuable. Being able to protect as people try to double up into the Torn is really useful. Tailwind obviously enables the rest of your team to go really fast for 4 turns and run over your opponent. Taunt is good for other Tornadus and Amoonguss, which can be troublesome for some of the Pokemon on the team, especially when if they go for a Tera type to resist the few things that do get super effective damage on it. And Bleak Wind Storm is kind of consensus the best attacking move on Tornadus. It definitely doesn't come without its drawbacks. That 80% accuracy is really annoying, but when you're double hitting those attacks, it's really, really valuable, especially when you're getting speed drops and it's essentially functioning as an Icy Wind, which sometimes fills that 4th slot, but when you're just getting them with the insane damage from Bleak Wind Storm anyways, it's hard to miss Icy Wind that much. The next 2 Pokemon are something you might be used to seeing from Regulation C. We see the Dragonite Tera Normal Choice Band set paired next to the Chien-Pao. Nothing too interesting about this Dragonite other than that it's max speed. So if their Mousehold is trained in bulk instead of speed, there's a potential for you to go for an extreme speed before they're able to go for Follow Me and tag their partner when they're not expecting it, which can really throw off your opponent's game plan. Chien-Pao, of course, with the Sword of Ruin ability, lowering the defense of each Pokemon on the field by 25%. You gotta be a little bit careful of it because it's also lowering your own partner Pokemon's defense, not Chien-Pao's. It is immune to that. Yeah, really valuable for all the physical attackers on the team. Really boosts up Kleavor, as mentioned. Sharpness plus Sword of Ruin, no joke on the damage coming out of that. And the Chien-Pao set is pretty standard for the most part. Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword, Protect, and Focus Sash. One thing to note is the Tera type on this Chien-Pao is Ice and not Ghost. Ghost was really common in Regulation D so that you could become immune to any fighting type attacks, which are otherwise 4 times super effective against Chien-Pao, as well as be immune to extreme speed, so really put the Chien-Pao Dragonite on opponent's side matchup in your favor. But no, we've gone for the Tera Ice to boost the damage of Ice Spinner, to be taking knockouts instead of playing a bit more defensive, which kind of makes sense on a team this offensive. Why play defense when you can just run your opponent over with offense? Staying on trend with that, we have the Urshifu Rapid Strike with Choice Scarf. It's the Tera Water type to really boost up the damage of surging strikes to absurd levels. And with each hit critting, it's immune to Intimidate, so it's a really hard Pokemon to deal with offensively. To complete the moveset, we have Close Combat to just do general stab damage when Water type isn't the ticket. We have U-Turn, so that if you find yourself in an odd position, you're able to U-Turn, scout out what your opponent is going to do, and then come back later in the battle. And lastly, we have Ice Spinner. Just because Dragonites are really common Pokemon right now, having the option to hit it for 4 times super effective if it hasn't Terra'd, and go for Close Combat if it has into their normal Tera, makes Urshifu better into Dragonite than it otherwise would be. Flutter Mane completes the team with a Booster Energy special attacking set with Shadow Ball, Moonblast, Imprison, and Trick Room. Tailwind teams tend to struggle against Trick Room teams, especially if they have Indeedee to stop any priority taunts. So having the option to just full stop, prevent Trick Room from going up with an Imprisoned Trick Room, because Flutter Mane can't get Fake Outed, notably, is just really valuable. This is a really bulky set with a lot of defense EVs trying to weather the storm of physical offense that's taken over the meta. And it has a bit of speed to function nicely in Tailwind and is able to get the special attack boost as well. So Flutter Mane isn't going to be coming too often, but when it does, it can be really impactful in winning battles against Trick Room. Just to be going over game plans for this team, typically you're going to be leading Tornadus and 1 other Pokemon. Kleavor is really a really interesting one because you can go for Stone Axe, do a lot of damage, as well as set up Stealth Rock to break any Focus Sashes, which can be sometimes problematic for Tailwind teams, because it's just another turn you have to be attacking into a slot, and with Tailwind only lasting 4 turns, you want to minimize the amount of wasted attacks for like 1 HP into a Focus Sash as possible. Once the early game's done, ideally you have Stealth Rocks up, Kleavor's done some damage with X-Scissor, maybe some Rocky Helmet hits and Bleak Wind Storms from Tornadus. I like to have Chien-Pao and either Dragonite or Urshifu in the back, just so that, sometimes you can have Dragonite and Urshifu in the back, but it's a bit inflexible because of the choice items locking you into one move, so you can get into some unfavorable situations there. But typically I like to have Chien-Pao and 1 of Dragonite and Urshifu just because Chien-Pao at that point in the game is going to be faster than most Pokemon, and the Pokemon it's not faster than, you can Sucker Punch. And similarly, Dragonite can go for really strong extreme speeds or outrages boosted by Sword of Ruin, and Urshifu in a similar vein can make late games really easy with Tera Water Surging Strikes. Your opponent at that point can't protect, and you're just taking really, really powerful hits from Sword of Ruin, Tera Water, Surge Strikes. Urshifu, it's just an incredibly difficult storm to weather there. However, a lot of the teams have been adjusting to how offensive physically the meta has become. I'm thinking specifically of something like Iron Defense Chestnut, Shelter, or Acid Spray Hisuian Goodra. So Flutter Mane can be a good Pokemon for that, just because it has a natural immunity to Body Press, which you can't Tera out of with Tera Ghost, which is nice. Being able to Tera out of the weakness to Heavy Slam on Goodra is also valuable, and even though you're not doing that much to it, not getting knocked out against that Pokemon is really valuable. It just gives you a lot of time to go for Shadow Balls, Moonblast, while your other Pokemon are maybe able to go for Sacred Swords and Surging Strikes to break through those setup Pokemon. Overall, it's a really cool team. Hats off to Zhang for taking it to top 30 in the PS ladder, and I hope you guys enjoy the battles on the ranked Battle Stadium ladder today. Thanks. So as you all can see, the Battle Stadium menu has changed to the Season 8 background. Interestingly enough, no None of the new Regulation D Pokemon are shown on this image, it's just the Paradox Pokemon and Dondozo, so maybe it would have been a better image for Regulation B, but nonetheless, we will jump into the ranked battle ladder. Alright, easily finding our first trainer. No shortage of trainers on the ladder trying to get some Regulation D battles, and we have a Hisuian Gudra, Rotom Heat, Tinglu, Gastrodon, Cresselia, and Corviknight. So a really bulky combination here. We're going to try our best to break it. And I think, we have a really bulky combination of Pokemon. The Kleavor could be kind of cool. Setting up Stone Axe, setting up our Stealth Rocks with Stone Axe could be cool, but it doesn't have much damage in most of the team, just to remind myself of the moveset. Yeah, we can Feint Protects, but bug coverage isn't very strong against their team. Urshifu could be... Urshifu's kind of taken down by their Gudra a little bit. I think Sacred Sword on Chien-Pao is going to be very valuable for me. And maybe pairing that with Kleavor to get a Stone Axe off early on. Adding Feint support. I gotta be careful about the Corviknight, of course. But I also need something to handle the Gastrodon. I think the presence of the Steel types is scaring me a bit away from Flutter Mane, so we're going to be going with all 4 of our physical attackers here. You could definitely have made an argument for Tornadus here. Taunting any of the Pokemon would have been decently valuable, but my worry was just that, well, I guess I'm a pretty bulky Tornadus, so my main concern was that I'd be going for Bleak Windstorms after going for those taunts, which is a bit inconsistent, and the damage would have been solid, but I anticipate them having ways to recover on most of their Pokemon, so the Bleak Windstorm damage wouldn't be that much, as well as it being reduced, or the value of it being reduced by all their recovery. And we see a Cresselia Gudra lead, so yeah, very passive. And we see Chien-Pao and Stony Boy over here. So, just to... I think I might go for... It's reasonably likely they'll go for something like Trick Room, Protect. Let's see, what are my Tera options on Chien-Pao? Ice is not good against Sacred Sword. Ooh, I think I'm gonna go for a Stone Axe. Yeah, I want to get Stealth Rocks up. X-Scissor there could have been an argument for X-Scissor into the... They switch out Gudra, okay, fair enough. I thought they might have been a Corviknight comes in, so it's good that we're getting rocks up, if they have Rotom Heat in the back, specifically. We do non-trivial ooh, they break my Sash with Rocky Helmet. Stone Axe does a ton. Is that a critical hit? It wasn't. So an X-Scissor, yeah. Now I kind of get how strong this Pokemon is. With Sharpness, with, yeesh. Okay, yeah. We kind of just knock out their Cresselia if we want to... I want to preserve my multi-scale, but Trick Room being up is a bit annoying for sure. They have a Body Press into me, unfortunately. But I think I want to force them to actually use it. Ooh, this is actually a weaker move than I was expecting. I think they could be trying to set up here, so what I want to do is go for Sacred Sword and Stone Axe into Corviknight. Yeah, they go for bulk up, which is what I was... They could have easily knocked out my Chien-Pao with Body Press, but I figure they just want to get as much healing off as possible, so we're going for a Sacred Sword, taking another hit, but I guess we'll see if Stone Axe is a contact move here. See how much that does. Actually, as much as Sacred Sword did last turn, so yeah, this guy's really strong. Oh, we get a critical hit. That's valuable. I wonder if Feint knocks them out. They're at what looks like 1 HP. They're like maybe... yeah, this is going to be close. I think I might go for Feint. Sacred Sword? I don't know. It's a hard call, I'd say. I'll double into it. I'm gonna try Feint. They're not seeing it coming. If I get the knockout, I'm in really good shape. And they go for Protect, so even better. Okay, so Feint proving its worth here. Unless they have Moonblast, oh yeah, and that gets the knockout. We'll hit a Sacred Sword into the Cresselia if they don't go for Moonblast, which is kind of becoming the more common attacking option on Cresselia just because of the presence of Urshifu, and yeah, there's Dazzling Gleam. Which doesn't knock out because it's not Stab, and we get a nice Sacred Sword hit off. So now I think we can go for an X-Scissor, and just keeping track of Tailwind turns. Okay, there's Goodra. We're slowly a small chip from Pointed Stones. I think I'm gonna... I played really hot and loose with my Chien-Pao so far, so I think their frustration index is kind of peaking here, so what I'm gonna go for is X-Scissor into Cresselia, which I expect them to stay in with and probably get knocked out. And as well, I'm gonna go for a Protect on Chien-Pao. Just because Body Press or Heavy Slam or really Dazzling Gleam is the most likely play from them here. He's gonna come out and... yeah. X-Scissor definitely knocks out with the Sword of Ruin boost, but I'm honestly not certain that it will knock out. Okay, they're going for a Tera on something. On Goodra, yeah, trying to avoid any Sacred Swords, potentially. So they go for the Water Tera. So they're going to be pretty hard to break. Now that I'm not doing super effective damage with Sacred Sword anymore, if they go, they're going to start stacking up Iron defenses. Yeah, Shelter. I guess it's Acid Armor is the other move it goes for. But yeah, they just go straight for the knockout with Dazzling Gleam. I'm not going to give it to them. And the main benefit from Goodra, or the main difficulty for Goodra, unlike other setup Pokemon, is that it doesn't have a Leech Seed like an old school Ferrothorn would have. It's really just banking on leftovers and Life Dupe recovery, or Lunar Dances, or Lunar Blessings from Cresselia. Tinglu comes in, which we're pretty happy about. They have Vessel of Ruin, which isn't going to do them too much good. One turn of Trick Room left. I think I can probably get pretty close to a knockout with Kleavor onto Tinglu. So what I'm going to do here is... maybe I double switch. I guess I can knock out... I don't know if I can knock out Tinglu that easily without X-Scissor, so... I think I might double switch... no. I'm going to switch out into Urshifu and go for X-Scissor into Tinglu. I kind of ran out of time on the play. If I underspeed their Tinglu with Kleavor, I'm going to get a big X-Scissor off, which is going to be valuable for finishing off the game. They Heavy Slam into Urshifu, doesn't do a lot, and they go for another Shelter. Okay, so we caught them going on the defensive there. Again, trying to deal with the Sacred Sword. But yeah, we're going for X-Scissor. Doesn't do that much, but the Twisted Dimensions end, and now I don't have to worry about them going for... I think I'll lock into Surging Strikes. It'll probably... I don't know exactly the calc, but I'm reasonably sure that I'm doing more damage... I'm doing more damage with a resisted Surging Strike into +4 Goodra because I'm critting through than I would with Close Combat, even with the typing disadvantage and the power increase. Those defense boosts are basically making it 3 times less damage. So they now go for Body Press and don't knock out, which is for sure valuable. And now we just go for our crit moves. We go for Surging Strikes and another X-Scissor, which I might add does have a high critical hit ratio. And they go for Protect, which, yeah, protecting in front of the Urshifu is definitely a call. We'll see how much damage we're doing. You know, they might actually be getting more back from... Wow, that's really no damage. They're probably getting more damage back from leftovers than we are with Surging Strikes, unfortunately, so... Ooh. How much was that? Yeah, that was no types of damage. Alright. Water Tera seems just blatantly incorrect. Can we lock into Outrage later in the game? Not so safely. I think what I'll do here is be a little... Ooh, no. I think it's really unlikely they risk going into Urshifu when I'm doing such little damage. So I kind of have to... Yeah, this Gujar's getting really close to 1v1ing all my physical attackers. So I am playing a bit risky, switching in my only Pokemon that can ignore the defense boosts, but if I crit X-Scissor, which is a 1/8 chance to happen, I can knock it out this turn. Okay. Wow, okay, they body press my Chien-Pao. That's pretty bad. That's not good. But I think with Feint support on this... That was pretty bad. Yeah. Sacred Sword would have done maybe 33%, which isn't a ton, but it's also, like, also a lot. Okay. I think they'll probably go for... No reason to max here. I guess if I want to catch them sleeping with on their Protect turn, I can go for a Feint. Yeah, it's a tough call. I think I'm gonna go for Feint. They might have forgotten at this point. Yeah, they go for Protect, so this might have felt like a small call, but I can kind of feel the margins on this battle are going to be really thin. So I want to hit this Outrage into them, see how much it's going to do. Oh yeah, that's pretty good damage, honestly. Rocky Helmet, I think, is going to be a bit valuable for us. But the confusion at some point could be an issue on Dragonite, so... Yeah, we don't have an option on the move we're going to go for, so we'll go for X-Scissor. Hopefully we get a critical hit. If not, I don't know if we'll be able to take it with Water Surging Strikes Urshifu. It's going to be close, and might come down to us having confusion hits go our way. I don't know this mechanic, but if you feint to Protect, can they Protect again? I'm not certain about that. Because something that's interesting is if you Protect, if Outrage targets into a Protect, okay, they don't Protect. You actually break the Outrage lock, and you can prevent yourself from getting confused. We get another X-Scissor. Heavy Slam comes out, and Rocky Helmet will come out, and I think that's actually going to inch us there. The Rocky Helmet doing about as much as an actual attack, so yeah, this bulky Kleavor, I guess is probably how you should pronounce it. Kleavor is a bit overstating the OR there, but yeah, because the water because they didn't knock out our Urshifu that turn, it's a pretty bulky Pokemon. I think it has like comparable bulk to Conkeldurr, despite looking like kind of flimsy. We can just go for Water Surging Strikes. We get no value from our normal Tera here, and yeah, they canceled their participation, and yeah, they were relying a lot on their setup that match, and we kind of just played really aggressive. I think Tornadus probably would have been better for us, just hitting on the special side as well as taunting any potential setup, but yeah, we were able to inch it out with a pretty timely crit on our Sacred Sword into their Corviknight, and we're able to close it out with a really, honestly, it was Feint that got us there. It was really Feint that got us there on our Kleavor. in addition to the crit. So yeah, definitely proving its worth there. And the sharpness plus Sword of Ruin boost, really, really overwhelming. Like, I'm pretty sure an X-Scizor would have knocked out the Cresselia from full, which is something you just needed to have insane compounding boosts to do in like older years. Like Bug Gem Heracross Megahorn was the old way to do it. But yeah, we have a Rain team with Pelipper, Water Urshifu, Sneasler, new addition, Rillaboom, another new one, and Chien-Pao, Flutter Mane. So the Sneasler Unburden with Grassy Seed and Rillaboom is grassy terrain is pretty much the most obvious thing we can see from them. But I think something we can do is use our Tornadus. Oh, you know what? Kleavor Water Tera here is also pretty good. I think we're going to try to set up Tailwind. Them setting up Rain might work against them. Sneasler is what? Fighting Poison? So... Yeah, Tornadus is definitely our lead, no question. The question is, what do we want in the back? I think we could lead pretty comfortably. Oh, we aren't Covert Cloak. That's kind of bad on that. But I can lead Quick Guard, which I think is what I'm going to do. And then I'll have Urshifu in the back. And maybe Dragonite in the back. I don't think there's really a wrong choice here. I think they're all quite strong, but yeah. I think the Dragonite could be really, really valuable into their Urshifu, depending on what they are locked into. Surging Strikes and Close Combat are both pretty good for Dragonite on the field, but a lot of the Choice Scarf Urshifu, the Choiced Urshifu these days are covering Dragonite specifically with Ice Spinner or sometimes Rock Slide if you want to go for flinches. But yeah, basically if Urshifu's on the field before Dragonite, we can beat it. Okay. Pelipper Urshifu. So that's really interesting for a number of reasons. I'm worried they're just gonna match Tailwind here, unfortunately. I wish I had something that could clear this out under Tailwind, but unfortunately I don't. Let me see how much value I get from Stone Axe. Not too much, but not none. I don't know this roll on Tornadus, but if I live, then I'm in pretty good shape with this play. So they're gonna go for what? Water Tera? Maybe a defensive Tera on Pelipper. Yep, there's the Water Tera. Sure. Would a Choice Banded Tera Water Aqua Jet knock out our Torn? I guess it doesn't matter because we have a faster priority move than them. But yeah, they go for Water Tera on Ursh. You go for Stone Axe. Okay, I thought that missed. But yeah, we set up Stealth Rocks and we bring Pelipper down to Focus Sash. Good thing we didn't Bleak Wind Storm, because if they knock me out there, that's pretty bad. But yeah, Surging Strike's gonna come out. Ooh, yeah, we were not nearly living that. Maybe without the Tera we could have, but yeah, with it, no shot. I don't feel too badly about that though. They go for Hydro Pump. Okay. I thought they'd go for Tailwind there. I really did. So now we're in a tight spot. They didn't set up Tailwind. They did not set up Tailwind. That's valuable for a couple of reasons. So Rillaboom is definitely a big concern for me here. But I think I can just lock in E-Speed into the Urshifu. The question is, does that knock out? I would say even with Tera, that's a no, but I don't think I can risk. Okay. So they're actually not Choice Scarf, like I was expecting. So the better play here would have been Surging Strikes into their Urshifu, because I could have broken that. Yeah, that probably always is better. Like, the Pelipper staying on the field doesn't really add anything for them, and I can just Extreme Speed it anyways. But that might suggest that they have some bulk on their Urshifu. But yeah, that's annoying, because I could have gotten a Bleak Wind Storm off beforehand. Pointed Stones dig into Chien-Pao. So that's the value of that, actually. Now I'm pretty sure I knock out their Chien-Pao. And I can just go for E-Speed into Urshifu. I wonder if Sucker Punch... Yeah, we're going to go for this. I think maybe Sucker Punch Close Combat could knock me out. But they're going to switch. Interesting. Yeah, we're going to Surging Strikes, knock out their Chien-Pao. That's taking Rocks damage. Extreme Speed goes out, and we see Surging Strikes come out first. It's going to be an easy knockout into Chien-Pao. And I'm pretty sure Surging Strikes... God. We lost both Pokemon turn 1, but it's looking pretty good in this late game, despite that. Because of our Choice Scarf on Urshifu. In Tailwind, because we didn't see a booster energy from their Flutter Mane, even if they were... because we didn't see a booster energy from Flutter Mane, we know they're not the speed boosting, but even if they were with Tailwind up, like we'd outspeed if we were max speed Urshifu anyways, so yeah, with Choice Scarf on the Urshifu, even if Tailwind ended, we'd knock out their Flutter Mane in a couple hits, and yeah, now I think we just go for E-Speed into their Urshifu. Yeah, they detect, but we're not risking using our Tera here. I suppose I should have gone for Tera Water on Urshifu in that case, but I'd be really surprised if Flutter Mane lives this. Yeah, no, they almost don't live one hit, so yeah, no reason to be concerned there. I'm kind of interested in how much this Surging Strikes would do to their Urshifu, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to find out. Because E-Speed's going to hit first, and Surging Strikes will then clean up. So yeah, I don't really see any reason not to go for this. Like, I think, realistically, E-Speed's going to put in the Surging Strikes range. They've gone for Protect, we know we're going to outspeed, and they can't knock out both Pokemon. And we'll always outspeed them on the next turn. So we follow up next turn with another attack, and yeah, there's just not a chance for them. But yeah, you can really see the value of Urshifu on a Tailwind team here, is because even though they had Protect on their Pokemon, which I wasn't really expecting them to have, yeah, we get it in 2 hits. So it probably would have done like 60 to their Urshifu in rain, which is less than I would have expected. But yeah, it's surprisingly bulky Pokemon. But the value of Unseen Fist in Tailwind just can't be overstated here. Like, Tailwind doesn't last that long, even with the speed change mechanics from the last generation, where Tailwind, the speed change activates instantly. You still only have 4 turns, 2 of which can be wasted by your opponent protecting, and kind of half of that first Tailwind turn being wasted by having to use one of your moves on Tailwind. So in most circumstances, you're only getting 1 plus 2 plus another 2, 5 moves with speed advantage on your Tailwind, but Urshifu completely flips that dynamic where your opponent can't waste turns in traditional ways going for Protect, because you're just going to bust right through that with Surging Strikes or a Stab Close Combat, and yeah. Tailwind traditionally, like, kind of a hyper offensive pairing, that hyper offensive strategy that kind of fizzles away as the meta progresses and we figure out defense, but it's going to be quite some time before we can figure out how to stop Urshifu, other than like throwing a Gastrodon on the team or something like that. Okay, but our opponent Izzy has another Tailwind. They have Tornadus, Moltres, Indeedee, Arcanine, Amoonguss, and Urshifu Water, so pretty defensive overall for a Tailwind team. I kind of expect this to be centered around the Moltres setting up with Nasty Plot. But that's okay. I think Kleavor is really not too bad again. Other than the Amoonguss, I'm not too upset leading Kleavor. It threatens a lot of damage on older Pokemon. Stealth Rock is really valuable as well. We have to handle their Amoonguss best we can, so that kind of means we have to lead either Tornadus or Chien-Pao. I think I'll go Torn just because the Taunt and the Bleak Wind Storm damage is valuable. Late game, we have to be careful because traditionally, like with his flying type, you can hit extreme speed into Moltres even in psychic terrain, but if it Teras into something that's not flying, that'll be flipped. So we're gonna go for Ice Spinner on Chien-Pao, I think, and let's go. I was tempted to go Urshifu for their Arcanine, which I am a little weak to, but I think what's more attractive is the Flutter Mane because of its high special defense stat, and I think they're going to be trying to center either their Urshifu or their Moltres in their game plan, and Flutter Mane does well against that regardless of whether there's redirection on the field with Dazzling Gleam. Alright, another game leading Kleavor. Hopefully it works out again, but we will see. Sorry, I just realized that I did not have game sound on for earlier. Okay, yeah, I've just turned it on. Really sorry about that. But yeah, Tornadus Arcanine is something we're pretty happy to see because we can immediately go for Tailwind Stone Axe into the Arc. And we're not too worried about Torn. Later in the game, we can just go for a easy peasy easy peasy Ice Spinner. But yeah, getting Stone Axe damage off into Arcanine is good. Okay, we move first, which is interesting. They could be going for Bleak Wind Storm. And Stone Axe gets really close to a knockout. If they're not a Recovery Berry and they try and switch Arcanine out, we'll knock them out with Stealth Rocks. They go for Icy. Interesting. That could stunt. If they knock out Tornadus this turn, that could be problematic. Play Rough. Really weird. Very, very weird. And yeah, we're gonna just taunt, I think. What were they expecting there? Yeah, we're just gonna taunt their Torn. If they E-Speed, yeah, not even close. And we taunt. And if they're not Mental Herb, we probably are gonna stop their Tailwind from going up. Ooh, okay, Bleak Wind Storm. We dodge on 1, dodge on 2. Yeah, that. So, really valuable move, the Bleak Wind Storm, but unfortunately for them, their Focus Sash. Unfortunately for them, yeah, not super useful there. So we're going to feint the Torn so that we don't have to risk our own Bleak Wind, and yeah, we'll risk our own and just go for it. What can they have in the back? I'm wondering if Protect's a little more positive for me here. I think it is. So what I'm thinking here is if I miss, this play guarantees that Arcanine either stays on the field and is kind of just feint bait next turn, or knocks itself out going for an attack into Kleavor with the Rocky Helmet, even like if they're not going for Flare Blitz, right? So yeah, we've made really good use of our Tailwind so far, but I want to be a bit careful. So yeah, there's the Arcanine. Let's check out our speed tiers here. So we have 112 speed, minus 1 puts us at 2/3 of that, which is going to be 99 is 33 plus 4. Yeah, I can't do the math right now. slow maths. But let's look at Torn. Maybe we can figure that out. I'm just trying to see if I'm faster than a Scarf Urshifu. And there's a chance I am, so... maybe I should be going for Feint into their Arcanine here to avoid Aqua Jet knocking on my Torn. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, they didn't go for Surging Strikes. Hopeful that they wouldn't have to take a couple hits of Rocky Helmet damage, but that's really gonna burn them here, especially because they didn't knock out my Torn to this. I don't think that was a risk they could have taken. Not losing Arcanine isn't, you don't want to be losing Pokemon willy-nilly, but just letting my Tornadus go for a potential double knockout with Bleak Wind Storm was super inadvisable. And maybe they were hoping the luck panned out the other way, but not the case for them. And them choosing not to go for Tailwind turn 1 ended up being really bad. And here we go. One more instance of the... yeah, I mean, I'm just going to reset the speeds here and then go for a Bleak Tailwind, I think. I guess Bleak Wind Storm is fine. Is there a way I can lose this if I go for Bleak Wind instead of Tailwind? Like, I'm thinking of the inaccuracy aspect of it. I think probably not, but they're probably just going to knock me out here, so I think I'll go for Tailwind. Yeah, that's smarter, because if I'm switching out Kleavor, and I get it back in with Tailwind up, and Chien-Pao on the field, I just clear it with Stone Axe, if I hit, of course, but yeah. Just going for Tailwind here to make sure that no silliness an odd Tera can lose this game for me. So yep, one of the best Tailwind setters of all time, got a new toy in Bleak Wind Storm, and helped us out in this game and hurt my opponent on their side. Yeah, it's such a crazy move. 30% chance to effectively just be a stab, like 75 base power because of spread Icy Wind is nuts. I mean, you are going for the... it's not like you 30% and you get both drops, but, regardless, yeah, this is looking like a pretty easy wrap. I'm going to go for, let's see, if Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast is going to get pretty close to a knockout, regardless of what they do. So they could maybe go for a Sneaky Tera into Poison or Steel. I don't think that matters. I think I'll go for Sacred Sword just to cover it. Yeah. I feel like Steel was the more likely Tera than Poison, but could be wrong about that. Maybe Ice Spinner was better, but yeah. Regardless, they would have probably needed to get a Nasty Plot up, have a Salac Berry, be able to live Sucker Punch plus Feint after that turn. Yeah, I don't know. Seemed pretty precarious no matter what move I went for. But yeah, that Bleak Wind Storm miss was really valuable for us. Definitely. Alright, rank 10, almost getting into Master Ball here. 3-0 against our Ultra Ball opponents, all giving us competitive matches, but all kind of showing off how strong Kleavor is, which I wasn't expecting. But hey, it's been pretty impressive, and lots of other trainers have been using similar teams or similar compositions with the Kleavor Chien-Pao. So yeah, it just goes to show how strong Sharpness is as an ability. 50% boost on all your kind of slicing moves is pretty incredible on a Pokemon with already very high attack stat. Okay, but we have a lot of new Pokemon here. We have the Greninja, which could be Battle Bond, Hisuian, Typhlosion, Sneasler, Farigiraf, Wigglytuff, and Chestnut. So I'm kind of running a bit low on time, so I'll save the thinking. But so I can't really taunt. I can't use priority moves because of their Farigiraf's ability, the Armor Tail. So I'm not going to go with Torn here. I don't think speed is that valuable for me, although it could be. Bleak Wind Storm isn't bad, but let me go with my Imprison Trick Room lead. Might be time to show that off. And for the later game, I think Urshifu could be okay for their Sneasler, and can't go wrong with Chien-Pao as the last. Dragonite's a bit riskier just because, like I stated, the Armor Tail blocks all priority moves. Dragonite typically, you want to be locking into extreme speed. Outrage is a bit inconsistent if you want to be hitting anything but one specific target, like I was in that previous endgame. I was happy to lock in just because Outrage wasn't going to target the wrong slot, wasn't going to target a fairy type or something like that. But we see Sneasler, Typhlosion, which can have Frisk, Rocky Helmet. Okay. They frisk our booster energy. That is a bit annoying. That's super annoying. Because of Dire Claw. I kind of forgot about that, and I'm very suspect we can live a Dire Claw. Let me quickly look up their speed Sneasler. I'm pretty sure they can outspeed me, though. If not, I'll just go for a Dazzling Gleam, but Sneasler. Adamant would not outspeed us, but I kind of expect them not to be that. I'm in a weird spot, so what I'm actually going to do is just go for it. I think, okay, they protect. That's a good play. And they go for Dire Claw, which doesn't knock out. I have vastly overestimated the potential of Sneasler. Offensively, Ghost type resists Poison type. I totally forgot about that interaction. I think we're in a decent spot now. I don't know my Sneasler Feint Kleavor calcs, but I'm kind of doubtful that it'll knock out unless I go for... Oh, it's close. It does like 17 to 20. I think I knock out Feint. That's really fun. But yeah, learning as I go along, as are the rest of you, I'm sure. Everyone was focusing on Regulation C for NAIC, but now we can put our attention to Regulation D and learn these things that, you all might know, but I completely blanked on, despite nearly over 10 years of playing Pokemon. That Ghost Fairy is definitely going to be resisting the poison attacks because Ghost type resists poison. Kind of a weird... You don't see that interaction too often, poison type moves, but it's the reason that Clear Smog Amoonguss doesn't have an even better matchup against the Flutter Mane, because it's not super effective, it's just neutral. Otherwise, Clear Smog would do a lot. Anyways, yeah. Ending that train of thought and moving on to this turn, I think I do have to be a little wary of this Greninja. Really more of the Farigiraf if Tailwind ends. Or Tailwind Trick Room goes up. Jeez, sorry. So I think what I'm going to do is get really aggressive and Tera that, and then switch into my Chien-Pao and go for an X-Scissor. 100% accurate, should be super effective on the Farigiraf. They're most likely sending a water attack my Kleavor's way, so if that's the case, I'll live that handily with the water Tera type. They are terroring themselves, so it is the Gren though. Tera Water, I'm hopeful. They could be Water Shurikening my Chien-Pao though, which would do a lot. We're going to see, though. I wonder if their Greninja is Battle Bond. I'm not certain that's legal, but I know it's a pretty interesting addition that the Greninjas have. No longer turning into the Ash Greninja. That's not coded into the game, but as soon as you get your knockout, you get a +1 in all stats, which is considerably worse. Water Pledge. Okay. I completely blanked. Okay, Water Pledge would have knocked out. Barely. They did like 60 damage. It would have been 3 times more damage if I was from resisted to super effective, I think. Was it 4 times? Yeah, it's 4 times more. So they would have easily cleared me, but unfortunately for them, not what happened. And now we can go for Feint to break any Focus Sash and a Sucker Punch. And we cleared them out in that battle. Yeah, the Water Tera on the Kleavor, definitely one of the better Tera options for it, especially because of the Rocky Helmet. We didn't get to see it that match. We got a little Aqua Jet interaction on their Urshifu in one of the earlier battles, but yeah, if you go for Tera Water and they Surging Strikes you, they're taking like 50% damage. You can, at that point, an X-Scissor plus Feint knocks them out. So yeah, it really flips that matchup on its head against water types, and we didn't hit our intended Urshifu target here, but yeah, the Water Tera helps us clean that end game up. Leave no room for any Trick Room from the Farigiraf to make that get a bit dicey with our weaker team that's usually more reliant on speed and priority. But yeah, we do close that out. Let's see what rank we end on. Hopefully we got into the Master Ball tier so we can show off. Those battles were competitive, but I want to get into the Master Ball tier, be competing against the people who have been playing a bit more games. And yeah, we're able to rise into the Master Ball tier around the middle or the bottom at 1560, but no doubt excited for that. And yeah, that will conclude it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the team. The bulky Kleavor set, really the MVP here. Getting Stealth Rocks up with Stone Axe is just kind of ridiculous that it's doing that much damage, as well as setting up Stealth Rocks. And yeah, the Scarf Urshifu as well, no doubt. Going to become a mainstay on Tailwind. I think Choice Band also has its place, but yeah, being able to break Protects and Tailwinds is insane. And then the Chien-Pao boosting both of those Pokemon's effectiveness in and out of Tailwind is just really incredible. So yeah, definitely a sign of things that we will continue to be seeing in Regulation D. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something from the video, and peace.